Good morning. It is
Good afternoon, good evening.
good night, like Jim Carrey would say back in the day.
Tuning in.
Yeah, so we're really excited to be here today, just because of the insanity that's actually begun in our world with regard to the Iranian conflict.
What is the date?
The beginning of that was actually Saturday, the last day of February. Boy, the months are going by so fast, it's hard to keep track of.
28th is, or the 29th.
The 28th. It's actually just 28 days in February. So the last day of February, which was the 28th, we went in as well as the Israeli troops.
March 2nd.
This is March 2nd, the Monday, the March 2nd. And after everything that's been going on, there's been absolute insanity, in the Middle East. Once again, we're back into that scenario. Thinking about all this and all these things that have happened through the years that we've been, on this planet. Melody and I have seen this Middle East conflict thing over and over again. When I think about it, I was back in 2002, 2003 when we entered into the craziness in Iraq, the neighbor to Iran.
Desert Storm.
Yeah, wow. That was a pretty crazy time, and here we are once again. And in our business, with what we do, precious metals. We do a lot of teaching and educating about the values of precious metals, particularly silver, in people's world. Well, once again, the incidents going on in the Middle East are creating chaos in the markets, and particularly in silver. Silver's volatile. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But Melody and I were just discussing off camera the incredible aspects of gold and how it seems to stay very stable. We don't seem to see a whole lot of real big, even if there is tremendous ups and downs, which, by the way, over this weekend, there was a huge $200 increase in gold, and it pretty much has stabilized that. Right now, it's at just under 5,300, in the market. It's 8:34 a.m. here in St. George, Utah on Monday, the 2nd of March. It's hard to believe we're even in March already. And we're just seeing absolute insanity today with regard to our market and what's going on. Silver's actually down now. It was up about $5 at its peak, I believe, up into the 95, almost 96 arena. And now we're down about $3.30, down to $90.33.
It got as low as $88.37.
Yeah,
since it's open.
Yeah, it's been a really volatile day today.
It was clear up to 95, 98.
We were actually every time we're expecting like tremendous increases, it never seems to fail. All of a sudden they knock you out. They tend
never know what to expect.
When we say we're talking about the bankers that are playing their shorts and dropping the hell out of these markets, so that they can make as much money or save themselves from total financial bankruptcy and disaster, is more like it with regard to some of these really large banking institutions. But wow, I mean, it has really been a weekend for the records once again. Just absolute insane, crazy stuff going on. What's your thoughts about what's happened, Melody?
Well, when it comes to gold and silver and the volatility of the market,
the crazy.
I think that we've got, in my personal opinion, focusing on the rise and the fall of the market will make you go crazy. Yeah. Do I buy now? Do I sell now? Is it going to be high? Is it going to be low? And really, when it comes to gold and silver, it's a long-term investment. it's a hedge against inflation.
Absolutely.
It gives you a security of liquidation in a heartbeat if there's an emergency or something that comes up. But if I'm focusing as an investor on the highs and the lows, it's going to just make me crazy.
Yeah.
When it's time to buy, it's time to buy. It doesn't matter if it's high or if it's low. If you're buying all along, it cost averages, and
Yeah.
you're going to be just fine.
You know, it's funny, through the years we've been doing this business, and we're primarily precious metals dealers, but we do a lot of other things in our store we'll talk about here a little later. But, you know, through the years, I've had individuals come to me, you know, call me up and say, hey, Greg, you know, is it a good time to buy now?
It's always a good
I
time
almost
to buy.
always laugh about that because,
Yeah.
you know, when I think about it, if you go back just about a year ago, about this time, we were somewhere in the between $32 and $38 an ounce. You know, if you go into 2025 and look at the numbers, particularly in silver, of course, and also gold, folks. I mean, really, they've both done, you know, tremendously well over just less than a year's time period. But my gosh, I get people that were calling me up then. Hey, Greg, you know, is it a good time to buy it? You know, they're thinking, well, this is just like the high. It's going to dump again. The concept, really, to think about this is that it's the new low.
Well, I can remember, you know, even personally, we came into some money that we had a stewardship to manage, and it was a substantial amount of money. And I was feeling like, oh my gosh, we've missed it, you know?
Right.
And we bought in at like 52, and it's like more than doubled.
Right.
But at that point, I was telling people, 50 is the new low. 50 is the new low. Well, I think 90 is the new low now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like when it's time, when you have it and it's time to buy it, feel good about it. The ego wants to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
And oh well, gosh, I better be conservative. I maybe I'll hold back. You know, and maybe that is wisdom for your situation.
Sure.
Nobody can say that it isn't.
Right.
But the time to buy is when it's time to buy, and today is a good day to buy.
It is, in fact. It'll be interesting to see. You know, our store opens at 10 a.m. Our Mountain Time, and it'll be very interesting to see if people latch on to this low that's been kicked down, and this is really just all about the shorting of the market, what's going on. There's a lot of volatility right now because these aren't legitimate purchases, because most of the silver is not even available to even. When I say silver, I'm talking about physical silver. I'm not talking about paper contract trades. That's false and total fraud as far as I'm concerned. Because most of the individuals or the bankers that were involved in this, they were only interested in actually doing these trades, making an increase, selling at that top point, and getting out and then starting all over again. Because this is one of the very few places where banking could actually even make any income over the last decade.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, do you have to have thousands of dollars and to invest before you can invest in silver? And
No.
And if I've never invested before, you know, I could get completely overwhelmed with the choices. So, what is your recommendation for someone that might have just $100?
Yeah.
To spend, and you know they want to come in maybe once a month or something? What would you recommend?
I would seriously start to look at this as the early days of Bitcoin, when you could buy a Bitcoin for, what was it, 13 cents or something when it was originally, you know. Start taking a look at, you know, if you do have an extra $100, you know, buying an ounce. I mean, seriously, you can
an ounce over maybe.
Well, think about this. Gold was $24 an ounce for a very, very long time. Okay, a $20 gold piece was exactly $20 worth of gold. It was just slightly under what an ounce of gold would be.
Now, is that a coin?
This would have been a coin. Yeah, and so. You know, until FDR got involved in this whole thing and did this insane confiscation and all this stuff, which we could also make a whole entire podcast about that issue alone. But I don't feel like it's ever going to happen to us because, well, there's over 1 billion guns in our country, so it's probably not ever going to happen. But the bottom line is, what I'm getting at is that the values are based on these very low amounts when you really think about it. Even silver at $100 is an incredible opportunity, because
when you say round, is that a coin?
well, it could be, if it's a round, then it's a privately minted product that actually comes out of, let's say, Sunshine Mint or any one of the major mints, A-Mark or any one of them can make what we call a round, which is well, actually, it could be done in a round, it could be done in a bar. It doesn't really matter what it is. It just doesn't have a denomination from a sovereign mint on it, which a sovereign mint is a government mint. They have to put a denomination or a valuation on that coin in order to make it legal to actually put it out to the people. Like a silver eagle is a $1 coin. So therefore, because it's a $1 coin, if you take it to a bank, in fact, it's actually the only, in the United States of America, the coins that are minted by the U.S. Treasury, each one of them has some denomination on it. A quarter, the 25 cents, of course. The $1 coin minted by the U.S. Treasury, the Silver Eagle, has $1 denomination on it. Therefore, if you take it to a bank, you can slide it across the counter there. The banker's going to hand you a $1 bill. But if you if you slide across a silver round, they're not going to give you anything for that, because it has no denomination and it's not been minted by what they see as a sovereign mint, which is the U.S. government.
Would you recommend a sovereign minted product over a silver round?
Not necessarily.
And why is that?
Because the cost difference is dramatic. And, through the years, I'll sell 100,000 silver rounds before I'll sell, 1,000 silver eagles. It's just the way our business is operated. There are some companies out there and some dealers that, they specialize in silver eagles and maybe even sovereign government, products, the Canadian Mint's maple product, that type of thing. But that's never been our venue. Here in St. George, where we live, the vast majority of people just want silver for silver. And that's how you do it. You just stack it. Based on weight, you buy it at the least amount of premium that you need to purchase. A premium is above whatever spot is, or the market rate at that moment, because a lot of people don't understand that word spot. But whatever the market is saying, what the price is at that time, which is the COMEX, the Commodities Exchange out of Chicago and New York, they're what actually creates that number. Now, is that the true value of silver? No, never.
And you talk a lot about silver over gold. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about gold.
Yeah, gold is a really interesting one. Like, we were having a discussion before we even got on camera about the interesting aspects about, people always talk about gold. It's always gold first, almost always when folks come into our store. I'd like to buy some precious, or I'd like to buy gold. And, when I inquire to folks, why is it that you want to purchase gold? They never really have an answer for that, other than the fact that it's in our brains that gold is the metal to have. That's starting to shift now because of what has been going on with silver and these absolutely incredible doubling, tripling numbers, almost quadrupling within a couple of years, silver's numbers. And so people are starting to change that mentality. And I've had many people come into the store that are just absolutely focused on that gold product. And all of a sudden, after some discussion and a little bit of coaching, starting to realize that you get so much more for your money, or for your currency, I should say, because it's not money, but it's currency, your digits in your bank account, than you do gold. However, gold's really interesting because, we're hearing right now a lot of things about silver, and the demand is through the roof, and yet the supply is reduced by dramatic amounts. I mean, I think the deficit right now is about 79 million ounces. For the 6th year in a row, there's been a massive deficit in silver. And so this game of this manipulating the number is just continuing on at a level that the world has never seen what's going on right now with regard to silver. The amount of EV demand, the silver demand for the EV, they literally, those that build these cars, these electric vehicles, they would probably consume at least a third to a quarter, or I should say from a quarter to a third of the amount of silver alone in the world that's mined. We're only mining about 800 and processing, getting product available about 850 million ounces every single year,
So
and that's
there's a
actually
huge
reducing.
deficit, and I'm sure they're looking for new mining opportunities, maybe new claims that they can make.
Oh, sure.
What is the time frame of getting a brand new viable mine up and running to where it's actually producing?
It's a major problem.
It's like a 10-year
It's more than,
process,
it can be 10, 12, even 15 years before. I mean, they have to do core sampling. They'll spend, $50 million on core sampling, alone just to get to a point to where they feel comfortable with actually even starting to pursue building a operational mine.
So getting new silver mines is not a quick fix.
Well,
we're really in trouble when it comes to supply
we're in
and
real
demand.
big trouble because Mexico's the primary producer of silver in the world. They're the biggest producer of silver in the world. China's the biggest refiner in the world. So everything's sent to China, to be handled as far as the refining processes. We got 2 countries that we have discord with in our country right now, and it's made all kinds of problems. We're supposed to be building this brand new massive refinery in Tennessee. It's like I think it's $6 or $7 billion to build this new refinery. It's going to take them years, a couple of years just to even build this thing, couples being kind probably, to be able to handle the amount of material that needs to be done right now. We're seeing all kinds of problems in our industry as a small level, dealer with regard to even, we used to always buy coin silver and sterling silver. We would buy the sets. People would bring them to us on a pretty regular basis. We would stockpile them, hold on to them because it was no big deal. We could always send them in at any given time and get
there's always minimums on what you could send in as a business.
Yeah, but
we'd have to wait until we had enough.
We would, but we never worried about the fact that we could actually send this stuff in at any given time and get paid either that same day or maybe the next day at the very latest.
Scrap gold, because of the volatility, we can't hang on to it.
Exactly,
so
it's absolutely nuts. But right now, we've got a deal. Right now, it's a pretty decent sized deal that we're waited 4 weeks on, and we still haven't been paid out on it.
Yeah.
There's some issues regarding what we deal with that the general public need to know about with regard to what is going on right now. These refiners are absolutely at a level that they can't even comprehend anymore. They're backed up by, in some cases, 3 to 6 months on product. Well, if they're backed up 3 to 6 months and your stuff is at the end of that line, at the end of that train, how long do you think it's going to take before you get your stuff paid out? We got problems. I mean, this whole industry has been absolutely inundated ever since silver started increasing. Really, about this time last year, where we saw. Getting into the 30s, people started selling their scrap metal and their gold but particularly their silver products. Their sterling sets and sterling and everything. It started coming in mass. Just absolutely in mass, and they just can't keep up with this. It's craziness.
So what is the good news?
Well, the good news is the fact that it's increased silver's values
Because my common
dramatically.
sense, my common sense is like, okay, so if they can't find silver mines,
Right.
there's a resource there.
There's the problem right there.
Well, there's a resource in the refining side of things that
where they can take the silver, melt it,
and
take the copper out of it, refine it to 3 9s fine minimum standards. And, of course, the U.S. government's heavily getting involved in this, building this brand new refinery.
Yeah.
Because they're going to start doing this. They're going to start buying back from, the public is probably what's going to end up happening.
Right. That's who has the silver. So what else is going on in the world?
Oh, my gosh. Well, the primary issue is, of course, this war that's going on in Iran right now. The USA involved with the Israeli government actually started bombing, the areas in Iran that, are a problem, meaning they're going after the leaders. So supposedly they killed Khomeini, the main leader, and also one of their generals as well has been taken out. And
but Iran isn't confirming that, right?
Well, Iran will never confirm anything. I mean, it seems like their government just lies about everything. Those good people of Iran have had to deal with this insanity ever since they killed the Shah of Iran in '79. So, I mean, things have just, they don't seem to be getting any better for them. I mean, my God, they've killed, more than 30,000 of their own citizens? I mean, I'm glad we're doing what we're doing because it's about time that Iran's government, these
they get
people
to be free.
My gosh, they totally get to be free.
Beautiful country needs to be rebuilt.
They're a beautiful country and beautiful people. Actually, they're good people. And anytime I've ever had a relationship with anyone from Iran, they're just fine individuals. This is so unfair. It's kind of the Iraqi situation all over again with regard to what was going on and the amount of dictatorship and religious fervency that's created chaos in their world.
Well, and how does that affect our currency?
Well, if you look at the markets today, the gold and silver are just slightly up. Right now, but as far as the currency is concerned, people are going to be dumping, and I shouldn't say people, but banks and all of that are literally dumping treasuries.
And what are they doing with the money?
It's going.
If they're dumping what are they getting?
It goes into safe haven items.
So they take their bonds, they take their money, and when you say they dump it, what does that mean?
That means they sell it.
Okay, they sell it,
sold.
And then they get money back?
Well, yes.
How does that make any sense?
Well, they're using the funds, the currencies that are there, digits, because that's what it is. It's all going to be in digital form to purchase metal.
Okay.
And so,
and what are you seeing in that?
What are we seeing?
Are they buying silver or gold?
Oh, both. They're doing both right now because of what all these countries know what's going on with silver.
Well, how much gold have they purchased this year so far, or what are they How much gold are they planning on?
So 850 tons of gold is the game plan for as a total. It's well over 1 million ounces of silver. Excuse me.
Silver?
1 million ounces. It's well over 1 million ounces
of silver.
Of gold.
And
it's really an interesting situation.
1 million ounces of gold.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Where are they going to put it?
Well, they've been stockpiling it. China's been stockpiling gold for 5,000 years. I think they could find some more space.
Mm-hmm.
I think
why
most people don't really think about China that way, but it is a very old society.
But
we're 250 years old, this July 4th.
Isn't it time to start investing in the people of the world? I mean, come on, you've got people living in tin huts. and selling bottles of water in the middle of the freeway of Africa.
Yeah, but those government workers have to keep their jobs. That's how they think. That's how they think.
This just gotta stop.
The mentality is to keep the government workers working and yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, if in fact that gold is in Fort Knox, what value does it bring to you and I today?
Exactly.
There's zero.
Exactly.
Unless our currency is actually backed by precious metals, we have nothing to count on.
Now
it's
so they back it by gold and silver. How do they track it? They would have to put it on some type of a blockchain.
Yeah, there'd be some kind of a digital,
so that they could literally not. It would eliminate the criminality of fiat currency overnight.
It would.
So when is this going to happen, Mr. Trump? Come on.
Yeah, you'll have to ask his, Secretary of State. Maybe I'm not sure.
I mean, why are we dragging our feet on this? This is for humanity. This is for the world. This is for
I believe he's headed in that direction. That's the game plan for all of this. The conflicts around the world, people being treated like garbage by their own governments. Many of the nations on this planet are still dealing with this kind of thing, and all that's got to be removed, from the space. Our people all people need to live free, breathe free, and so.
So what else is on the ticket over here to?
Well,
talk about?
when we're looking about the historical context. Regarding the ratios, which is rather interesting on the back to precious metals.
Well, where are we at on the ratio right now? I haven't even checked lately.
We're about 57 to 1 right now.
So 57 ounces of silver equals the value of 1 ounce of gold.
Yeah, at spot, you could buy literally at spot. Remember this, folks. It's an at spot ratio. In last year, actually, really quite incredibly, the ratio got as high as 105 to 1.
Outrageous.
Yeah, but it actually got higher than that about 10 years prior to that.
Wow.
And so it's
supposed to be like 16 to 1 or something like that.
Correct. 10 to 16 to 1 is kind of the ratio. In 1980, the ratio hit 15 to 1.
Wow.
Which was really amazing.
Yeah.
I remember that when it happened. Gold went up to $800. It was fascinating and incredible. I was actually in high school in those days, and I'll never forget it because I was like, oh my gosh, who has $800 to buy 1 ounce of gold?
Yeah. Well,
it's kind of like
what was it? A few years ago, we were thinking, who wants to spend $350 on a Bitcoin? Yeah, we had that conversation.
We did, yeah.
Like, oh
well, my gosh, I mean, when we were involved in Bitcoin, and we were for a brief moment in our lives, until we decided to get out and just focus on what we really do, which is precious metals. Great decision on our behalf. Bitcoin had actually was around $3,000. $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah,
and then it boosted up to $9,000, and people were so excited about this. Right?
Yeah.
This was 2018. You that are involved in that will remember this, and then it dropped back down to 40. I think it was 4,500, about half of that 9,000 mark. And you and I looked at each other and we said, you know what? And we were teaching people about that. We had seminars in our store. We had 50 people in our store one time doing seminars and teaching about all of this.
Some of those people have retired on their Bitcoin.
This is
literally
true.
Retired.
One of the individuals we actually got involved in Bitcoin actually has made so much money in it that he literally retired.
Yeah, and he's in his 30s.
Right.
But if you can grasp it and really understand how it works, and you can keep those codes and
well, I think if you're a master at trading, you can become
it was
really
over my head.
well,
It was, you know.
I don't know if it was over your head. It was just kind of over our necessity because we do so many things
Yeah.
in our store.
Anyway,
But yeah, these ratios are really something right now.
I've been telling people, there's going to come a time when you're going to be going, man, I could have bought silver at $100 an ounce.
Oh, but look at this. If the ratio
I could have
hits,
bought silver at $100 an ounce.
if the ratio hits 30-1 with gold at 5,400, which by the way we were just at until literally moments ago, they busted it down to whatever, and it almost doesn't matter anymore because whatever the high that hits with regard to the precious metals, and it gets hit down, it never fails. It
Okay,
actually it goes to that point,
Where's
and then
gold
it
right
goes
now?
beyond that.
Where's gold
So
right
the
now?
gold right at this moment is at 53.1380.
Okay, and what is the ratio?
The ratio right now, if it hit 30-1, if it hit 30-1. Right now we're about 57-1, 58-1. If the ratio hit 30-1, gold at 5,400 and silver would be 180. That's a 30-1 ratio, folks.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing because I can totally see that.
Yeah.
If you can't see that that's going to be coming soon,
Yeah.
we could very easily, by the way, have that by the end of this month. It could very easily hit those kind of numbers.
And then again, it could just
And then
stall out
it could,
where it's at for another year.
We no, I don't really see that.
We don't
but
know. We don't really know what's going to happen.
all we know is that there's a massive deficit in the amount of silver that's needed. It's not an issue of want. It's needed. That's where the problem really lies in this silver issue. Gold, like we were talking about before, there never seems to be a deficit in gold. Do you ever notice that?
Right.
It's like, okay, we get
They
delays.
know where gold is. They know it's everywhere.
It is gold. There's a lot more gold than they ever want to let on.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in real depth. Another one, that's a podcast on its own for sure. Talk about issues regarding how much gold is in the world. There's an enormous amount of gold. Silver is really the problem, and it always has been. And now more than ever, with all these electronically related business types. Sorry, my allergies are driving me nuts, so my nose is itching me like crazy like right now. Anyway, it no longer is it going to be triple digits if in silver. It's going to be when, because this gold issue, again, we hear issues about demand of gold, but do we ever hear issues about supply with regard to gold? No, there's no issues with regard to supply in gold. None. There never was. And so this price is just going to continue to rise, and silver will, it is incredibly volatile because it's an industrial metal, but it's also money. And it's always been money. And so the truth of the matter is every other country in the world is treating this completely different than we are. The COMEX, this entity that just keeps playing the same old game where they're, trading these paper contracts and thinking that that's, going to work for the rest of their existence. They're going to end up getting crushed is what's going to end up happening. This cannot continue on. This crazy forward thinking, trading these futures contracts on a regular daily basis is insanity. They're basing this on total false information.
So our point of view is really, if you're going to have gold and silver, make sure that you have it in your possession, that you have complete control over it. You're not storing it outside of your control, that you're not putting it in some storage unit or safety deposit box. You have it safely stored at your home in a vault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Is really what it comes down to.
Don't be surprised if you have a gold and silver IRA. They tell you that it's physical silver, but really it's paper. Don't be surprised if they don't settle your account out because of the paper
Volatility.
because they can't play their paper games anymore. It's
Right.
not financially advantageous for them to hold those accounts anymore. So they may just send you a check. I don't know. It will just have to wait and see. But if you don't have the physical gold, if you can get the physical gold, call it in and hold it, you're going to be much better off as long as you can store it and secure it. Obviously, that can be a concern for some people.
So there's really good news, folks, on the horizon for us as the inhabitants of this beautiful planet. Obviously we need to get out of war and remove, the people from these situations that are terrible. But as far as what we do for a business, we're precious metals dealers. Where do we go from here? $6,000 gold, $150 silver. Are these real numbers? Yeah, they are. We're going to see them this year for sure. J.P. Morgan's calling for $6,300 gold by the end of the year, and Bank of America sees a potential peak of $309 on silver. The cooling of the Middle East tensions could cause a short-term pullback, but structural demand remains. This is what we've been talking about. This demand never, ever lets up. They can come up with all kinds of scenarios why, you shouldn't be investing in silver or gold or all that stuff. But the truth of the matter is they can't print this stuff. They can't print it. They never could.
It won't work in a 3D printer.
Yeah, they do, no matter what they always say with regard to it just doesn't, gold is this ancient relic. You shouldn't, be holding on to gold. And isn't that interesting? Because the very government that says such things, or their little agents that say such things, stockpiling it in Fort Knox. Why would you say such a thing if it wasn't valuable?
There's stockpiles in Fort Knox.
We don't know that, but that's what it's supposed to be for, right?
Right.
So again, look at the facts. Okay, just March of 2025, $3,000 gold. March today, $5,300, $5,400 gold. That's extraordinary. We're almost doubling. Almost doubling.
Well, let's look at a 10-year chart. If you go on kitco.com, KITCO, you can pull up the charts and you can hit the silver button and you can go to 10-year, and the 10-year low was $11.94 an ounce. In 10 years, the low was $11.94.
Wow.
The high was $116.55. What investment have you invested in, even your 401k, that has produced that kind of income? In the last 5 years, it was $17.81 was the low. And in the last year, the low was $29.56.
Wow.
Just in 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, March 2025, silver was $38 on an average. Today, between 94 and 96, almost $97. U.S. national debt, this is astonishing, was $34 trillion in March of last year, and today, $38 trillion. How did this even $4 trillion in 1 year?
It's all interest.
I mean, this is insane, and they want to push this back on you and me as the people.
No way.
That's our debt. Are you kidding me? We didn't create this insanity. Congress keeps raising the debt limit. I mean, these people in Congress, we've got to start all over.
So gold, let's talk about gold. In the last 10 years, the low on gold was $1,128.20. But the high 5,414.
Wow.
Yeah, in just the last year, gold went from a low of $2,857.10 up to $5,414
Absolutely incredible.
in 1 year.
Literally
We're going to
almost
see
exactly
these kinds
double.
of numbers this year. So if you jump in and just do what you can do by the end of this year, and if you think about this as make sure you're not using your money that you need to live on. This
Right.
needs to be discretionary funds.
Yeah,
folks.
absolutely.
But you could think of it as a retirement plan. Just putting it away for a rainy day. That's your emergency fund. That's not to be touched. And you buy a little bit over time. You can nickel and dime yourself to wealth just like you can. Give up one coffee a week.
Absolutely. And just as a reminder, we're not
just get dimes if
Right.
that's what you can afford.
we're not financial advisors, we're not CPAs, we're not attorneys, we're not
But look at
but we're just
history.
given the facts
Yeah.
about
Just
the
look at the
values
history.
of getting involved in a actual physical asset that you can hold to act as a hedge against an insane government policies.
And make sure
That's
you're-
really what this comes down to: insane government policies.
And make sure you're
because
using money that you're not going to have to bring it in the next week and sell it because your car broke down.
Yeah. People wonder, okay, why is gold $5,400? Well, gold's $5,400 because the U.S. dollar is absolutely a crash disaster, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. When's the last time you went grocery shopping? If it was just yesterday over the weekend and you saw the prices of Melody and I just went to Costco over this weekend, we were shocked. I mean, the price of goods right now and shopping for anything right now is absolutely astonishing.
Yeah.
How much things are costing right now. And there you go. If you want to know why the price of gold and silver are actually really, truly increasing, it's because our dollar is a disaster.
We are in real time watching the collapse of the dollar.
Correct.
That's why silver and gold is costing more and more.
And
It's not because the value of gold and silver has shifted for 1,000 years.
Right.
It's because the value of the dollar has shifted.
Yeah.
And that's why we're seeing.
And it's not obviously our country. We've watched just since we've been alive and on this planet, we've watched numerous countries completely fall apart. Venezuela is one of them, where it was once the wealthiest country in the world. Their oil proceeds were absolutely astonishing. These countries fall apart because they're run generally under socialist dogma. And they don't know a damn thing about how an economy should operate. And so they push the people down, make them basically slaves by their taxation process, which is each and everything that they do in their world. And these situations create such chaos in their governments fall. They end up falling apart. In the meantime, they try to keep them going while they're stashing all the gold and silver for themselves. The people get nothing, in the end. And so this is why it's so important that we hold these metals in physical form. There's no other way. The ETFs and our SLV and GLD are not going to save you, because the bottom line is, if the power goes out, what the hell do you have, people? If the power goes out, what do you have?
Well, how's gold and silver going to help you if the power goes out?
You can still do trading with your neighbor.
Well,
If he's, that's the difference. You can still trade stuff. If you got something
get your
physical,
power turned back on.
it doesn't get your power back on, but it doesn't. There's no water there to drink or but you could trade for it.
Yeah, you could.
At some level.
You could.
Anyway, my point in all of this is that get yourself something that is going to have long-lasting legacy value to not only yourself but your family.
And have a water source, guys. Have an alternative electrical source.
That too. Yeah.
Be prepared.
Yeah, we're certainly not.
Get those things in order.
Yeah.
And then get your gold and your silver.
Gold grubbing guns is what the 3 Gs. Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of that.
4 really, God, gold, grubbing guns.
Being March 2nd, right now, the voting for Best of Southern Utah is going on, and we would really, really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Vote. We've been nominated for Gold Store, Coin Shop, Rock Shop, Antique Shop, Best Place to Buy a Unique Gift.
And Best Place to Buy a Gift.
And
so
best
actually,
place
it's
to buy a gift. Yeah.
6 venues.
If you feel like our store deserves your vote, we would really, really appreciate it.
You can vote
find
for
a link in our bio.
Yeah.
Just click on the link and you can hit our voter page and you can go down and select all, or you can pick which categories you feel.
I believe we have this week left as far as voting is concerned.
Yeah.
Within this next coming weekend.
And you can vote every day.
Every day, but
you'll be thinking about
you
us.
can vote from
every day.
from everywhere. If you even like us just a little bit, just tell us by your vote. Because it makes a big difference for us in our local region.
Find who we are and
what we're all about.
Yeah, and we're here to serve you. If there's anything we can do to assist you in education, or just you want to call and make an appointment with Greg to sit down and talk about your situation and what might serve you, we're happy to do that.
We'll put our phone number on this thing too, so you'll have it available to contact us direct.
Both Greg and I have kind of cut back our hours, so you want to make sure you call and make an appointment so that you're not coming down, especially if you're coming from Mesquite or Parowan or Page or wherever you're coming from.
Or calling us from Michigan or Minnesota. And
we want to set aside that time so that you get your undue.
We'll talk about your
attention.
terrible Congress people in there that are causing chaos all over the world.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Oh, golly. The conversation's in the back room.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Anyway, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. This is Greg and Melody Neal coming from St. George, Utah. Happy to assist folks in getting kind of updated every other week on what is going on in the precious metals market.
And this week, vote for bestofsouthernutah.com. Go into the shopping section, and we're in there under gold store, coin shop, antiques and collectibles. Yeah, several categories. We would really love your vote. And vote for your other favorite stores and shops and restaurants and businesses, because they deserve your vote.
Thank you. Thank you very much.